today I will be attempting my first marathon at the age of 16, but let's take a look of the month beforehand. So I posted a video showcasing my PBs and the practice leading up to this marathon, but it's not just a normal marathon, it is the Zurich's New Year's marathon, which means it won't be at a casual 3 p.m. or early in the morning, but it will actually be at midnight, starting at midnight, meaning it won't be nice and warm and sunny, but it will be dark, we will have to use lights, and it will be negative degrees. So to see how we practice for this, let's head into the weekly plan that I set for myself. At least one long run on the weekends, 1 or 2 sprint/interval sessions, and if I've got time with school and exams and other stuff, potentially a second long run to get in the mileage. As you can see, heading into some clips of track practice, it was pitch black pretty much. The multiple sessions, the first one was a long run, this one was on the track, and as you can see, you can barely see the track. You cannot see the other side. You can see about 10 meters of the white lines, and that was it pretty much. So really preparing in the dark, and then with 16 days to go to the marathon, I ran an 8.5 kilometer event in Zurich. 3 loops of this lovely circuit you can see on screen now, and it was quite a good event. I was just aiming for below about 4-minute average per kilometer. As you can see here, the start of the race very hectic, and it was a very tight course, so I knew I had to start quite far up, as someone there nearly tripped. As here I come through 2.8 kilometers in about 350 average, so it was pretty good. And then this already was at the end of the race. With 300 meters to go, picked up the pace a bit, and you can see here flying through the last corner, I put on the jets, absolutely dash up to the finish line, overtaking a few more people, and actually nearly running into someone after the finish line. But that was a pretty decent run. Finished it in 31 minutes and 12 seconds with a pace of 3:43 per kilometer, and it was pretty decent considering I was mainly doing long runs for the marathon. But then with 9 days to go, and I did my longest preparation run, 31.5k. Tried gels for the first time, which will be quite an important theme later on, but pace was good, I was moving good. Could have probably stretched it another 10 kilometers, but anyway, on the 31st of December, as the night started creeping in, it was here, the day was here. Well, not yet in theory, but you can see this was the start, and then at the corner of the hole was not the finish, but where we'd go around in loops. So as you can see, the red dot is where we sat, the lap finish is the gate, and the second arrow was the exit basically of the hole. And we would do 4 loops of this lovely circuit. You can see start finish on the left along the river, and then we'd always loop back down through the building before we go back to the river and run the next loop. And I did run the loop once before during daytime though, and as you can see now, I have my GoPro with me, so this is the raw footage from the start with the countdown. Enjoy. So you can see there is the gun, and the race starts, and it is midnight. We are in 2025, and you can see I'm very far to the front. Now I cross the line, and it goes all the way to the back right corner, standing all around. So we did start quite up to the front, which we kind of had to, because you don't want to be caught up, as it is not a very wide path. You can see some volcanoes lit up for us as well, and yeah, it was about -3 degrees, but because of the humidity, they said it felt colder. I honestly don't really know the impact of the humidity. I never run at this time. But yeah, in preparation for this, we just basically took a long nap. You can see so many lights. Basically had to wear headlights because it was mostly, well, it wasn't asphalt. It was about 10% asphalt. Here you can see I've captured plenty of fireworks, and all the crackling you can hear are all fireworks. We had fireworks for about 1.5 hours, which was actually quite nice. And then yeah, we passed through the first loop of 10.5 kilometers in 51:21 in a 4 minute 51 average, which was pretty much on pace, just a bit above it. And you can see I recorded again on the GoPro every time I ran through the building, because you'd not have seen anything outside of the building. So you can see it's all dark but nicely lit. You can see the time counter on the right. My mom's recording on the right here as well, as you can hear there. And then you can hear the speaker as well. And then here we basically exit. And then after the second loop, after the half marathon, we come through. You can see that guy sprinting, because you can either do one loop, 10.5 kilometers, you can do a half marathon, or you can do the full marathon. So you can see the ones that are stopping on the right here have all finished their half marathon, but we of course have to keep going. So we loop round once again, as in the middle was kind of the chill zone with tables and everything. And then at the half marathon we passed through with a 1:44, which put us just under 3:30, but that's kind of where it started going downhill. Already at the end of the second loop, I felt very nauseous, and I kind of had to, well, I felt like a sense of puking, so that was really not great, and I didn't really know where it came from. So I googled after the race what causes nausea during racing. I didn't overeat, didn't have too much food or anything, but I could have been dehydrated and not had enough food during the run. As I said, I had the gels, but I only practiced them once, so I didn't want to risk it. I didn't want to risk them upsetting my stomach, so I didn't take them. I had 2 cups of water and 1 cup of some electrolyte drink. And then at 31.65 kilometers, you can see I did a 1 hour and 4 minute loop, nearly, well, 14 minutes slower than my first one. So something was wrong. And then at 32 kilometers, I didn't have to puke. Well, I had to, but basically literally nothing came out. And I just had to call it a day after the third loop pretty much. There was just no chance I was doing the fourth. It was getting progressively worse. Yeah, I just wouldn't have the strength to do another loop. It was in full another 10 kilometers, of course. So after 3 of the 4 loops, I had to call it a day, which is unfortunate. It's not how I expected my first marathon to go. I was disappointed, but that's sometimes just how it is. It's still a great start and a healthy start into 2025. So let's make it a great year. If you did enjoy this type of content and this video, please leave a like and subscribe. And until next time, from me, it's take care and goodbye.